He said, I sought knowledge and I was able to gain some. But I tried to find adab and to learn it, and I found that its people had passed away. The basmala, alhamdulillah, rububiyya, al-jihad, tawbah, fada'il al-a'mal, as-salah, tarbiyya, as-saghair wal-kabair. You know that respect is gained when you can say one word and everyone knows who that person is. And that's the obvious, of course, that's the aim of all public relations companies, right? That's all they do. Management consultants and image consultants, that's their whole life. They get paid millions and millions to be able to create that brand name. So you just say that person's name and it's recognized and understood. Well, you know, subhanAllah, we have the same thing. We have the same thing. They said Abdullah is Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. No need to tell us anymore. That's Abdullah. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, min as-sabiqeen al-awwaleen, from the kibar sahaba, from the early days, from the major sahaba, from the early companions of the Prophet ﷺ, who is the actual rawi, the actual narrator of this hadith. Learned 70 chapters of the Quran, surah of the Quran, from the mouth of the Prophet ﷺ. And they used to say, as narrated by An-Nasa'i, that he learned them while Zayd ibn Thabit, radiallahu anh, the scribe of the Prophet ﷺ, the scribe of the Prophet ﷺ, was still a child playing with the children. Houses were not meant to have these two women under the same roof. You know? It's just not meant to happen. It doesn't matter how good you are and what a superstar you are and whatever, and how good your mother is and how good your wife is. It's not going to happen. They just by their nature are just so, they're just on the opposite scale. Everything that your wife likes, your mother's guaranteed not to like. And everything that your mother wants to do in a certain way, your wife is guaranteed to have a different way of wanting to do it. And Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhuma قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يبايعه على الهجرة وترك أبويه يبكيان فقال يعني الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال ارجع إليهما وأضحكهما كما أبكيتهما. وحديث صحيح. That's Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu said, a man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and made a pledge to him that he would do hijrah, but that he had left, by doing this, he had left his parents weeping. The Prophet ﷺ said, go back to them and make them laugh as you made them weep. Okay, so this is a hadith which is authentic, and for us, it's the first time that we've met this Sahabi, Abdullah ibn Amr. And actually, it is the first time we've met Abdullah ibn Amr, but at the same time, it is the closing of the chapter of the Abdullahs. Yeah, and they said, their ulama used to say that there are 4 Abdullahs that we should all know. And we've done the 3, and now we've completed the set, the 4. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, we've already covered. And Abdullah ibn Amr, we've already covered. And Abdullah ibn Abbas, we've already covered. And now we're doing the final, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. The face to be put to the ground is a form of disgrace and humiliation, except when it's done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the greatness of sujood, because sujood to anyone is an act of disgrace and humiliation. Forget the fact that it's kufr and so on, but it is a humiliation. But when it's done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is the greatest act of ibadah that one can do. Our shaykh always explaining some kind of detailed mas'ala, and we're always thinking, no, you're definitely doing it wrong, or we don't understand. And when we don't understand, it's always something wrong with the text, or something wrong with you. And I remember we said this to our shaykh, no, there's definitely wrong. And the shaykh said that, those who can't dance, they always say that the earth is bent. When you start to, quote unquote, purify yourself and start to follow the sunnah, right? It almost means as if, right, therefore everything that my parents have taught me, and everything that my family has taught me, and everything that my tribe has taught me, and my culture, and my nation, and my language, that needs to be now totally put to the back. And that's what's happening. A lot of practicing people, they start to develop their own kind of religious kind of culture, right? So they start to adopt certain types of dress and believe that this is the only way that Muslims should dress. And they don't, they think that standard basic society kind of norms in that society are either strange or bid'ah or haram, whatever. And what does this cause? This causes many of the good points and the benefits of the culture and society to go. What is one of them? The respect to the parents. Which is why that you find that the major problem of bad relations with the parents is rampant amongst practicing people. Amongst practicing people, practicing Muslims, you find that they have so many problems with their parents. You want to talk about manhood? I give you Imam Urwa ibn al-Zubair. You want to talk about sabr? You want to talk about, give me any characteristic and I'll tell you about Urwa ibn al-Zubair. You want to talk about sabr? You know that same day, the narrators have told us in the books of Rijal, that same day that he had that infection, his son fell off, had an accident in the house and died. He died. That same day. You know what, yani? You know what Urwa ibn Zubair said? Allahumma in kunta akhadht laqad a'atayt, wa in kunta ibtalayta laqad a'afayt. Beautiful. This is sabr. If you, Ya Allah, if you have taken, then you have given as well. Ya Allah, if you have put me to trial, then you have also pardoned as well. This is definition of sabr. This is the kind of ideal that we want to reach. These are the kind of role models that we want to see. A'immatul Islam, A'immatul Salaf, and how desperate the people will be, and they will go running to the prophets, and everyone will be saying, I'm looking after myself, I'm worried about myself, and then they will come to the Prophet ﷺ and say, I am the man for this job. I will do this job, and then he will go to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and he says, and I throw myself down, and I will use Muhammad. I will be given praises by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that at that time which I do not know now, and I will use وَأَحْمَدُهُ بِحَدِ Muhammad, and I will praise him with these Muhammad. Sajidan, I will be in prostration to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala will say, Ya Muhammad, irfa' ra'sak, raise your head, and speak. وَيُسْمَعْ لَكَ, you will be heard. وَاشْفَعْ تُشَفَّعْ, ask for intercession for any of these people, you will be granted it. Sal tu'ta, ask, you'll be given. This is maybe the most important part of our lives in reality. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith that my shafa'ah is for the ahlul kaba'ir min ummati. Okay, my shafa'ah is almost to say that my intercession is reserved almost for the people who do the major sins from my ummah. So how many of us will be in need of that? The other Sahaba, they will talk about him all the time. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu, another major companion, another major, those who have been promised paradise, would say, I never saw anyone more knowledgeable than Abdullah ibn Abbas. I never saw anyone more greater than Abdullah ibn Abbas. I never saw anyone who was worshipped Allah as much as Abdullah ibn Abbas. And not only that, blessed, he was very, very handsome. Very, very handsome. They used to say that he was the most ajmalun nas. He was the most beautiful, the most handsome of people. The women of Medina and Mecca, incidentally, but the women, when he used to walk past, they used to say, has Mask walked past or has Ibn Abbas walked past? This is, his attributes are just, subhanallah, shatta, they spread and they go on and on. And you can't give these people justice in a few minutes and a few pages and so on and so on. It's just it's a joke, to try and, bring down these mountains into a few words and so on. It's like the principle in Islam. When it comes to a situation of necessity, you can only take that much which is going to get the job done, right? So you find, they give this example, but about the person who is starving, hungry, and he can't find anything to eat whatsoever, and he's really, becoming weak, and so he goes to the only place he can find is McDonald's or something, and so he goes inside, and he goes, right, so I know that I'm about to die, so I can eat now the haram meat, so I'll have 3 Big Macs, and I'll have two McChicken burgers, and, whack it all down, and have the day of his life, right? How can they compare the Quran versus the Bible? Allahu Akbar. You see the science that we've just developed here that was able to determine the exact letter that was said by a person. Not only is it applied to the Quran in the most extreme sense, then to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then to the companions, but then their children and their families. We know everything that they did and when they did and how they did it and what they did not, and we know the statements of the scholars and what they did say and what they didn't say, and we know the statements of their students. We have that much kind of knowledge and authenticity to that level of people. So it shouldn't be the Quran versus the Bible. It should be the Bible versus the statements of the sons and daughters of our scholars. When we're talking about an Imam, when we say the word Imam, it's not said lightly. When we say Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Sufyan ibn al-Thawri, when we say a Tabi'i and we say radiyallahu anhu, this is no joke, folks.